I remember when you had me on Growing Consciousness, and we were talking about my program enough, and we're talking about sexual abuse. And even when I even accepted, when you invited me and I accepted, I was thinking, what's the positive spin? What is the conscious place to go take this particular topic?
Yeah,
I mean, it was
like
kind of a dark for me.
Yeah, and it was kind of a dark topic, so to speak. Like this is something very heavy, something traumatic.
Right.
Where
do you find the good in this? Yeah. And I just remember what stuck with me was a couple things. There were a couple things. Is that the day that I did that show with you, I don't even think I was where I am today. So personally, I don't think I was at the place yet to find light in it, really. The only light that I would find in that topic sometimes was that if I could speak about it, that meant I was dealing with it. And I could maybe share with other people who are listening that there are steps, that we're all taking, and that if you can at least get to that place where you can talk about it, maybe then you can offer somebody else who survived this the knowledge that you're not alone, that there's a community, but also there's hope. And so I think I accepted the interview for that purpose that day. But one of the things we talked about was saying to you that I feel sometimes people aren't ready
you
yet
did say that
to transition to let's see
how to grow from here.
Sometimes I think people are just angry still. And it's funny because I was on a radio show the other day on RJR, and we sent out my number, and people have been texting me, and one lady said in a text, I'm angry. I've been abused and I'm angry. And my thing in thinking about this project, The Souls of Women too, is I know I can't tell anybody when they're ready. But when and if they are ready, there is light. There is some hope. And I think that's really where programs like Growing Consciousness and Positive Vibes really come in. It's almost like a handoff from like the counseling people need, the support groups, the places to vent and just be angry, the activism and advocacy, which I've done probably all of that stuff, to the place where you're like, oh, okay, now I can try to put the pieces back together and move forward. Do you see that you do that in Growing? Do you see yourself as that kind of transition place for some people?
I think so, and I hope so. And as you say, not everybody is ready, and not everybody is ready, when you think they should be ready, or even sometimes when they think they should be ready, because it doesn't have to be sexual violence or whatever, but people have different things that they go through that's traumatic to them. And even they themselves, like, why am I not over this? Why am I not done with this? Or why can't I let go of this? Or I think just the just sitting, I think sometimes, and I think that is probably some of the hardest thing, is just sitting with those emotions and acknowledging them and saying, okay, anger, I know you're here, I understand, or yes, and one of the things I think in Western society especially is the whole idea of anger is like we don't accept anger as an acceptable emotion. And I remember struggling with that myself for a long time, like, why isn't anger acceptable? As a child, you're like, don't make up your face like that, don't do this, like, why you look so upset, smile or whatever. And it's like, but I don't feel like smiling. But as a child, you're told like, oh, don't do that, don't make up your face like that, whatever. But I think for me, as I got older, I remember reading this article once in Science of Mind magazine that I think I have a copy of it somewhere, but it's called something like I'm So Angry, and it basically says like, it's okay to be angry. I mean, I don't have to act out your anger in destructiveness or despair or, go and ruin somebody else's life, but you can be angry, scream in the pillow, shout out the window of your car when you're driving, you can, deal with that anger in whatever way, that is constructive. And I was like, oh, you can deal with it. Oh, so anger is not necessarily like going and destroying stuff. So I think, as you say, I think that point that you made on the Growing Consciousness, that they show that day was very important in terms of, not dismissing your emotions or suppressing your emotions, because I think a lot of us are taught to do that from we're young, you must be happy, you must look happy even when you put on a nice face to the world, that kind of thing. But as far as your question in terms of transition, I hope that both shows can help people, even if they're not ready yet, but at some point will reflect on that, just like I can reflect on the article that I read when I was like 20 or younger, and I can draw on that and say, oh yeah, I remember this conversation. I might not remember the name of the two people who were on the show who I heard that day, and it was a lady who had gone through something very difficult, and some show on internet radio that I heard, but for them, hopefully it will be something meaningful that they will remember, at least the points to say, well, okay, it's okay for me to hold on to this for a while. But my hope is that you don't hold on to it forever, because I know people who hold on to stuff like their whole life, and they're so angry, they're so bitter, they're so negative against the world. It's like nobody can get close to them ever again. You know, like the joy in simple things are in their lives. They just don't see it, even though they may have their children, their family, you know, what people would consider a nice job, or, you know, just living a nice lifestyle or whatever, and they just can't enjoy it because of whatever incident happened. They hold on so tightly to that.
Yeah.
So my hope is that, you know, we don't live, and I don't like the name, and you probably have your own opinion about it, but I don't like the name victim, because I think when people get trapped, I think it's a trap when you trap yourself in that label of, oh, I am a victim, and you label yourself, I'm a victim, then you start to walk around, I think, as a victim. I'm not saying that somebody didn't do something to you that was wrong, but I think when you take on that whole persona of victim, I think it becomes bigger than that one incident, and you become that living, walking, breathing victim for the rest of your life. And my hope is that people, and see, your bracelet says hope, or your necklace says hope. My hope is that, you know, you or all of us don't walk around as victims for the rest of our lives, even though traumatic things happen to all of us at some point.
Victim is one of those words that holds a lot of power,
yeah,
over you once you really say that's what I am.
Yeah, I am. When you say, because I am, I think it's very powerful that I am, and that's why some people don't. They say to you, don't say I am diabetic, or I am, you know, I have diabetes, or, but that I am can be very powerful.
Or I have been violated in some way,
yes,
you know, or. But I am not this.
Exactly.
This is not my who I am.
I'm not my hair. I'm not my necklace. I'm not my clothes.
Right.
I'm not this incident that happened to me.
But I think it takes time to get there for some people.
This whole idea of patience, of, you know, I want this and I want it to happen here, and it was happening this timing, and it does that. Life doesn't happen like that. So I think it's the same thing for whatever it is that we go through, whatever traumas we go through. It might take you a week. It might take you a month. It might take somebody else a year. It might take me 5 years to get to that point. But my hope is, again, that no matter what it is that we go through, whether it is sexual trauma, you know, loss of a parent, or just not having a blood family growing up, or whatever that trauma is that we each feel that we suffer, or we each feel that this should not have been my life. My life shouldn't have looked like this. I should have had this kind of mother, or I should have had this type of finance, or I should have had this type of child, or whatever it is that we have in our mind that we think is that traumatic event for us. Hopefully in this lifetime we can, you know, do what we have to do in terms of making that leap for ourselves, and it's not really for anybody else. I think it's really for ourselves to know that, you know, in order to be happy and in order to help others, I think, who have been through similar or other traumas, that, you know, this is something that we need to do for ourselves.